Hello, everyone. Welcome to our training today. This is the last topic. We're going to talk about the buyer salesperson buying process. Okay, let's start. So today's topic will include first one is negotiation skills and how to firm the deal. Next one is items the buyer has to do the list once the offer firmed. So usually as a buyer agent, what we should to prepare after the offer firm I'll accept. Next one is the following forms we needed to fulfill, like a waiver, like amendment. Next one, we'll talk about home inspection general issue. If the property is already uh, sold with a home inspection clause, and once you finish the home inspection, if you have any problem, so how we are going to deal with the home inspection problem. The last one is called a re-visitor and the final closing. So that is the whole buying process. This is the last seminar. Let's quickly go review the previous seminar. The first one we talk about, this is the first class. We talk about the home life landmark, the agent orientation, include the welcome, greeting, office equipment, and the offer, how to, the appointment for the offer, how to book appointment, and the office recall, uh, how to get the more client. That is our first class. The second one class, we talk about the buyer process, how to book appointment, showing the property, prepare the neighborhood information, and also the BRA is very important. Next one is use the prospect search, send the email, automatically email to your client. And of course, turn to MLS, how to use the map search. So number 2, 4, we're missing the 3. The third class is we're going to do the offer, how to prepare the offer. So that is the offer preparation seminar on the third class. So the first one is last week, which means we already passed, is how to handle the telephone calls, the RealNet, Wolf Connect, how to qualify the buyer, and how to show the property. So that is last week. And this week is the last seminar for the buying process. First, let's talk about the negotiation skills. The negotiation is very important because that is always we call the last step. Once you finish the last step of negotiation, you can make the deal. The buyer can buy the property. The deal is firm. So negotiation is very important. Remember this chart. The chart is called a common area. I think a lot of people, as buyer agent, always we wanted to offer the price as lower as possible, but make sure the common area is the seller and the buyer, the both party they can agree area. So use this chart to your buyer client. Tell them, I know the lower price is good, but if too low, the seller won't agree. That means we are not reaching the common area. So that chart picture will show you how we are going to make the deal because we need to reach the common area, common interest. For here is the negotiation skills. We have to learn whole bunch of the things. Self-control, knowledge, master procedure, culture, language, and also we needed to credibility, time, and capacity, patience. There's lots of things we needed to learn, but this picture just show you the general. We have to learn more things to, in case we can have the best negotiation skills. And also, I know the trap, they have a course. The course is called the top negotiator course. If you have a chance, maybe you can go to e-commerce, Toronto MLS, and register the course. Of course, it's cost money. It costs, I think, over $100 money for the negotiation skills. So we don't want to talk too much here because, this is a really long topic. And finally, I think a negotiation, we can make the deal firm. We can make the deal accept, both party agreed. The win-win situation is the best situation we are looking for. Like it's a deal win-win situation. You know, some situation maybe the listing agent win, the buyer agent lose. Maybe the listing agent lose, the buyer agent win. But I think a lot of the situation is a lose situation. So the seller expectation is very high. The buyer expectation is very low. They cannot reach the common area. And so we just cannot make the deal. It's a lose. Win-win situation is, always making sure the common interest area will be reached so we can make a deal. All right, so that is the quickly we talk about the negotiation, and I may use some sample uh, to show the how I'm going to do the negotiate with the listing agent. Of course, this is a case is different. I think just for your reference. Uh, when I first year in the market, it's 12 years ago, and the property is least 373 on the market. I have a buyer looking for the property. Actually, it's one of my friend. I really want to help him get the price. So I try to start this property, and the buyer why they want to sell and how much is the lowest price, but the seller they keep reduce the price within the next few weeks. So the first listing price is 373, and finally, I make the deal. It's a 289, 373, 289. So that is unbelievable. You know why? You know, even right now, I still, when I just think about that case, I think it still is, it's like incredible because the price is 289 is really, really low price. Because the seller, when they purchase the property, it's a 270, 275 something. That means after almost like 5 6 years, they purchase the property. They are not making the money; they are losing the money. But the thing is, when I do the negotiation with listing agent, but I see they keep continue to reduce the price. And when I call the listing agent said, "Oh, the seller is, if you have any offer, bring me the offer." So that means that they are really wanted to sell it. And of course, they offer the commission is a higher commission, like a 3% commission. So that's why, I search the property, who is the owner, how many property they own, and why they want to sell. Is this a property for investment or for their self-use? So when I do the research, finally, maybe I find out the seller is looking for sell the property. They need money. So that's why we keep the prices lower. And anyway, so that is the first case. I think it's really to find out, but I remember I spent a lots of time. Sometimes like even night, I work at the 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock morning time, still to study to find out why they want to sell. It's really take time, but anyway, right now, I think a lot of the new salesperson we should to sit down for ourselves and looking for the solution. Maybe you can ask me if you have any question. We can help. Office manager, we can help. But anyway, I think as an agent, we have to put more time to help our client to find the property. Next one, the negotiations is this is the property list 329. When I show the property to one of my buyer, actually the buyer is one of the friends they referred to us, to me, and I showed the property to them, to lots of property, but one of these property they really like. They said, "Oh, we want to put an offer for this property." So I said, "Okay, let me call the listing agent." When I call listing agent, it's a Harry Xu, but it's a assistant. He answered the phone. He said, "Okay, so if your offer lower than 325, this they're very busy. I think it's really busy, super top agent. They said if your price is lower 225, please don't waste our time. Don't send me offer if price is lower than 325." And so I just want to trying to help my buyer to save some money, because in that time I never give the rebate, but I just want to try to give something to the buyer. The buyer said, "Okay, 325, they are great." They said, "Please put the offer 325 is okay." And before I put the offer, I just write down the letter to the listing agent, because I check the history of this property. The seller living there for the whole life. The property is purchased, I think, in the 1980s, uh, when the home just built. And when I show the property, I find that there's pictures. Their family, they have a kids. They married. They have a kids. The kids grow up and they move out. Right now, they want to. I think the problem is they want to downsize. So I read down the letter to the listing agent, tell the listing agent, my buyer. It's a true story. The buyer is new immigration. They have just 6 months, the little baby girl, and right now they are rent in the basement. Both of them working very hard, and I told the seller, my buyer is a new immigration. Looks like 20 years your situation. But anyway, they like your property. It's clean, it's bright, and they will to keep the property uh, same as like whatever you are right now. And if you can just please help me to reduce another 3,000, because as new immigration, I know they are not easy. Well, this letter is sent to listing agent. The listing agent passed to the seller, and later on, the listing agent called me. They said, "Okay, send your offer 322." Yeah, so that is the offer 322. I firmed the deal. As the listing agent said, 325 is the minimum. If you lower, don't waste the time. But I try to help a buyer. The buyer is really happy because I get the extra 3,000 for them. So that is the second negotiation in my transaction. There still have a lot, but each transaction, each deal is totally different. Yeah, this is the property. Uh, so we will quickly just give you some idea for the negotiation. First one, I think very important. We have to be a very uh, take your time and study the property, study the listing agent, and also you have to know your client. Use which strategy. Strategy that means real, cannot be fake. You cannot make a story, because you make a story. I think a listing agent, they are in the business for many years. They will know it. So trying to make the true story. And also, second one, very important, the negotiation is to reach the common area. So that's very, very difficult, because usually the buyer looking for the lower, seller looking for the higher. It's really difficult. But we have to do the CMA, comparable marketing analysis, making sure they will reach the common interest area. So that is we can make the deal. Next one is really important. Once the offer accept, what you should to do? We have some agent. Once the offer accept, they are so happy. Said, yeah, we can go to vacation. Then the agent go to vacation out of the country, and the buyer they call office. They said, oh, I need to apply the mortgage. The mortgage agent asked me, where's the offer? Then they cannot they cannot reach the listing agent because listing agent is already go to vacation. So based on that situation, I will suggest what any of the buyer agent, once the offer accept, we need to do something. We cannot just once offer accept, that's it. We need to first is to give the buyer or office, we need to give the copy of the offer. For the buyer, you need to give the buyer as soon as possible because the buyer need the offer to apply the mortgage. They need to find a lawyer. They need to buy insurance, whatever. But we need to get a copy of the offer to the buyer as soon as possible. Deposit. I have I have to say there's lots of the agent when they prepare the offer. They said, "Oh, I learned from uh, Aurea." They said that 5% of the price, 5% of the sold price, but they never learned deposit is within 24 hours. They learned 24 hours, but they never learned you have to check with the buyer, see if they are able to have that amount. We have some case, the agent is really happy, said, oh, deal, just accept. And the next day, they called the buyer, said, oh, where's deposit? The buyer said, what? You, the buyer said, when I never realized, I need to get I need to get that such amount deposit in the bank next day. Maybe some buyer is a first time buyer. They need to get the deposit from the RRSP, first time buyer, but that may take 48 hours. That means 2 business days. So deposit is within 24 hours. The buyer cannot have that amount deposit. So that's why, when I always suggest our agent, when you prepare the offer, when you prepare the offer, when you go to the agreement purchase sale, the first page, you need to ask buyer, in case the offer accepted today, can you get that amount of the deposit from bank tomorrow? I need a bank draft. So if the buyer said okay, then double check, make sure they are able to get that amount. If the buyer said, oh, sorry, I don't have maybe 50,000, I don't have, maybe I only can get 20,000 or 15,000 or 10,000, whatever. So you need to do the supplementary deposit. That is another clause. But here we mentioned about within 24 hours. That means when you prepare the offer, you should very clearly to make sure the buyer have that amount money. They can purchase bank draft next day. Sometimes the offer is accepted Friday. I think a lot of the agent they work on the Friday night. The offer accept. The Saturday the bank is not even like right now. The bank is not open. So the buyer said, "Oh, I went to the bank, but it's closed." So if Friday the offer accept, usually we would ask the listing agent just put it in the email or message, tell them, based on the because the Saturday or Sunday or holiday, my client will get the bank draft, will send it to your office or directly deposit to your trust account in the Monday before 5 o'clock. Please confirm. So that is like a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday. We cannot get a bank draft deposit within 24 hours. We need to send the email to the listing agent. Just let the listing agent confirm. That's it. You don't need to write down the amendment. You don't need to change the clause. And the next one is mortgage condition. Remember, it's 5 banking days. You have to waive the condition. Five banking day, that means once a buyer accepts the offer, you need to ask a buyer to apply the mortgage the next day to apply the mortgage. Usually the mortgage take 2 to 3 days approved from the underwriter, from the bank underwriter. But some buyer maybe first time they never know. They think, oh, I already have a pre-approval. So they never know they have to go to apply the mortgage. Yeah, we have to make sure the buyer apply the mortgage, do the application for the mortgage. The next day, once the offer accept. Home inspection. We have lots of the agent, they said, oh, what the five banking day is a home inspection. It's going to be a start at the same as the home finance. That means once the offer accept, first you need to apply the mortgage. Second one, you need to find home inspector, make appointment with home inspector, and then call. We have to call the listing brokerage to make appointment for the home inspection. Usually, the home inspection uh, appointment is 2 hours. It's not like usually half an hour, 1 hour. It's 2 hours for the home inspection. The next one condition is a status certificate condition. If this is condominium or condo townhouse, this is really, really important. We have lots of the agents say, oh, the condominium or townhouse is a multiple offer. We just waive all the condition. But even you waive the condition, but the status certificate, the buyer's lawyer, when the buyer's lawyer do the closing, the buyer's lawyer still need status certificate, even you have no condition for the condo or condo townhouse. So that's why we always suggest you put condition unless that's multiple offer. But the condition for the status certificate is very, very important. And if right now like it's a multiple offer, you want to give up the condition, but also you need to make sure the seller will apply the status certificate. Because if the seller not apply, your buyer have to apply the status certificate before the closing. Buyer's lawyer. Once the offer firm, usually we will wait for the offer firmed. We will find a lawyer, because the lawyer before, I think before, if you just call the lawyer's office and said, oh, I'm the buyer, I want to use your law firm to close my transaction. Before it's okay, they say, okay, send me a document, they will open the file. But right now, I think a lot of the law firm, they will ask you to pay the deposit first. Because, some people, they just shopping around. They call the lawyer's office, they send the offer, and they open the file, they do the communication with the listing, with the seller's lawyer. But the last moment, the buyer said, you know what, I want to use another lawyer. So that's why right now, there's a lot of the lawyer office, they ask a buyer to pay the deposit. Usually it's a 200 deposit, but I'm not sure right now how much. Revisit the property. Tell the buyer, once the lawyer you have, the next step is revisit the property. And also next step is signing the mortgage document. Some bank maybe ask you go to the branch to sign. Some bank, they will send it to the lawyer. Lawyer will send a document, mortgage document. And next one is the insurance, home insurance. Making sure if this property is a freehold, ask a buyer to buy the home insurance before the closing, because the buyer's lawyer need home insurance. Next one is really, really important, because we have some agent, they don't know, but the buyer, the lawyer never tell the buyer, because the buyer's lawyer will not open the utility account, will not open. Before buyer's lawyer will help the buyer to open the utility account. It's complimentary, it's free. But right now, even you want to pay, the lawyer won't do it. So you, as a buyer, you have to open the gas account, open the hydro account, water account by yourself. Making sure you open the account before the closing. And next step is signing the lawyer's document. Usually the lawyer will call the buyer. If they get all the document, usually it's the day before the closing day, they will sign the document. But most of the lawyers still is the closing day. They will ask a buyer to sign the document, pick up the key. Uh, Before, pick up the key is usually it's the afternoon, like 3 or 4 o'clock. If the buyer use a major bank, uh, maybe after 4 o'clock, if the buyer use a second lender, like a B lender. Right now, the COVID-19 situation, the lawyer, they will not let the buyer to pick up the key from the lawyer office. They will use a lockbox. So on the closing day, making sure you have a get a lockbox code if you are the buyer agent or buyer from your lawyer. I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, we are one of our agent is a buyer agent. The buyer, they already get ready to move the closing day. Everything is get ready, but they are just wait uh, for the key. After 5 o'clock, the lawyer they go home. The buyer, they have no place to go, but they have to get the key. So they call our agent, said, why I don't have a key? It's closed. But the buyer, as a buyer agent, we call the lawyer's office. The lawyer's office is 5 o'clock, nobody there. Then the agent called me, said, can you find me the lawyer's cell phone number? Because the buyer, they need get a key, otherwise they cannot, they will stay the outside. So we call the lawyer. The lawyer, they just said, oh, there's maybe they're too busy. They forget to release the lockbox key. They just tell the lockbox key to the agent tell the buyer, they open the lockbox, get the key, and move in. So right now the situation is if the closing day, make sure you get the lockbox key on the closing day. But usually lawyer will do that, will tell your client, in case, your client cannot get the key, we have to help our client to find a lawyer. So that's why we will always use some lawyer. They have their cell phone number. They have a WeChat, because if we have any situation, we can contact a lawyer after hours. All right. So far, I think we almost finished the 1/3 of this presentation. Is there anyone you have questions? I think when we are do the seminar at the office, lots of the agent will ask a question from the copy offer, copy, deposit, mortgage. But right now I think it's so quiet. Just assume everyone you have no questions. All right. So when the offer accept, you give the copy. The buyer have already do the mortgage application, and they book appointment for the home inspection. So we should to do is we need to prepare the transaction, send it to our office. It's called a sales report or trade transaction. Right now we call it sales report. We don't call it transaction, trade transaction. Log into the office website, click agent login. And once you click agent login, right now we just moved a little bit sales report, we move to left. But anyway, you will find it's called a sales report form. The sales report form is if you have any transaction like a resale, listing, like For lease, commercial, new home, whatever any transaction, you need a sales report form. The report form looks like looks like you need to choose is residential for sale or commercial for sale, residential lease or commercial lease, a new home or new condo. So for this situation, is for residential sale, you check, and the fund track purpose. Okay, for this fund track purpose, leave a blank because we no longer to use it. Just leave the blank. Next one is the first salesperson, second salesperson, the commission split. So if you're working with our office, like a team, maybe you and another agent working together, you can use first salesperson and the second salesperson. If you only working by yourself, you just write down your name. That's it. Property address, MLS number, sold price, acceptance date, closing date. And where first one is a listing. The listing means where the listing agent. Like this situation, we are the call operating brokerage, we are the call op salesperson. So we just leave the first blank. Just write down the information in the we are call operating. The buyer's information. Buyer's like a number, email, phone number, email. The commission is the same as like from MLS, 2.5% usually. Marketing cost, most of the cases there's no, just put zero or leave blank. Listing brokerage, write down their brokerage name, phone number, fax number. The transaction is firm or conditional. So first condition, you see there's a very limited space. If you write down finance or mortgage condition, you may not able to write down. So usually we will just write down first condition is COF. COF, that means the condition of finance. Expired on, that means the 5 banking days after accept offer. The second condition usually is condition COI, condition of inspection. Expired on, just write down the date is the same, 5 banking days. If you have other condition, write down the next, like a status, seller's lawyer, buyer's lawyer. So if we don't have a lawyer yet, just leave blank. If your buyer told you, oh, my buyer's lawyer is, then you send it to office, send the email to the deals. You don't need to wait. But then most of the buyer, they already have a lawyer, you can write down. So next part is the form. We need to send it to the office, like a fund track, like a copy of deposit check, just to see which form you have, make a check mark. And if you're not, if you don't have, maybe you need to get the form ready when you send it to the office. So that is sales report. Usually I will suggest our agent send it to the office once the condition waived. Once the condition, all the condition waived, you just make the whole package, like offer, fund track, agency form, and the copy deposit, waiver, maybe amendment, making sure everything is there, and send it to our office deals at homelifelandmark.com. Send it to our deals department. Yeah, that is looks like a little bit a bigger look. Next one, click 001. It's the same as like a resource center. If you are the new salesperson, like I know some people just register, pass your exam, register with our office, click 001, my business setup, because you need to get your HST number for the commission. So I didn't do the screenshot for the details of my business setup. If you click, you will find out. Okay, so there's a three condition: mortgage, home inspection, and the census certificate. Usually this is a very important three conditions. And now I'm going to show you how to do the waiver, how to do amendment. And if deal is not a go through, you may need a mutual release. Log into MLS and go to web forms. Web forms, find out the transaction we already create. If this is the offer you prepared for your client, just double click the transaction. Once you click a transaction and then click forms on the right side, forms. Yeah. After you click forms, you need click add, add. And once you click add, there's a search. You just search the form for the waiver. It's 123 for waiver. Or amendment 120. So for here, I already have a waiver added. Just to show you, when you put a waiver there. Oh, sorry, this is for the amendment. If you have amendment, why we need the amendment? The first reason is for the condition. If the condition 5 banking days, your buyer said, oh, my mortgage broker said maybe we need another few days, like two more days. So we use amendment. Amendment delete before the condition expired. We delete the previous condition, and we need to insert, copy exactly wording, but change the 5 to 7. That means at the 7th banking days. So you have another 2 extra banking days. And another reason we use amendment is because once you finish the home inspection, you see this is home inspection condition, but the buyer said, after home inspection, we find some problem. So the buyer don't want to waive it, but they need to ask a seller, either seller to fix, either seller to give the credit. So here it's a sample. We use an amendment to amendment the home inspection. Once we finish the home inspection, and there's a two choice. We delete the home inspection condition. We insert the first option. The seller agreed to fix the following items at the owner's expense during 10 days of the final closing. Just write down one, maybe fix the door not properly closed. Two, maybe a window cannot open. Three, maybe they need to fix the whatever area. So just write down the seller agreed to fix. That means the seller will fix the problem before the closing. Of course, you can write down if the seller said above items is not fixed by the seller in the time period, the seller agreed to credit to the buyer with amount agreed upon, maybe 800 or whatever. So if the seller they agree to fix those items, that's fine. If after 10 days, after 10 days of the closing, before the 10 days, within the 10 days before the closing, you do the revisitor, you find that not everything is not finished, you already write down the credit. You can ask a lawyer to do the credit. That means the seller agree they are not fixed, but you can do the credit. I think if you write down the two sentence, most of the seller they will not agree because the fix the problem. Sometimes the seller said, okay, I already fixed, but the buyer think this is not satisfied. So they will have a misunderstanding. So that's why some sellers said, I will not agree to put this amount, a credit amount. They rather said, I'm not going to do anything, like option 2, the sample 2. Seller said, I'm not going to fix anything, but I will rather give you maybe $900 credit. So that is the option 2. The seller agreed to credit the buyer with amount upon $900, deduction from the selling price period for the final closing date. So this is the best one. If if the leasing agent and seller agreed, we will use the seller give the credit. We don't want to use the we don't want to let the seller to fix it. Yeah, this is amendment. Also, you can amendment anything. Like, some people said, oh, the closing day, we want to change early or later. We just delete completion date, title search date, insert new completion date, write down the new date, title search date, the new title search date. And another amendment, like sometimes a buyer said, I want to add maybe uh, someone else to as a buyer. Usually they use one person, like a spouse, both spouse, they want to buy the property and the title, but when they prepare the offer, they only use maybe husband's name. Before the closing, they want to put the wife's name. So if that situation, we will do delete the buyer name, the husband name, insert the buyer name, the husband and the wife's name. So that is do the buyer's name. You can actually, you can amendment anything, use amendment. But you have to make sure the amendment is the seller, they have to agree. If the seller not agreed, then they will go back to the previous offer. Now we talk about the home inspection. I think a home inspection is also a big issue. Remember, when you finish the home inspection, you have two options. One is there's no problem, or they have a minor problem. You want to go ahead, either use a waiver or amendment. Another one is like if you have major problems, so the buyer said, no, I'm not go ahead. So you have to use mutual release to release this offer, release the deposit back to the buyer. When we talk about the inspection, as an agent, we have to go with the buyer together to do the home inspection. Because I know some people just it's a starter for part time, and when you book when you book appointment for the home inspection, 2 hours. Sometimes the agent said, "Oh, I don't have time," but you have to go with your client at a whole 2 hours time. You cannot just give a lockbox. You cannot just open the door and then leave. Make sure you have to be there for the from start to end. You cannot leave during the home inspection time. Once finished, we will usually, the home inspector will teach the buyer lots of the tips, how to maintain the property. And so we can learn a lot. And once finished, the home inspector will tell your buyer, there's a problem. Maybe they give the report later, or some home inspector will give the report right away. So quickly let home inspector to point out what is the problem. For example, they will give you like all the problem. You can write down. You can quickly to make a highlight and write down those problems. This is not the real problem. I just for example, usually the home inspection report will be a 30, 40, 50 pages. We write down all the problems. And after we write down, we will go through again with the buyer. Which item you think is very important to you? Maybe some item, is not really important, but it's a concern. It's some like a home inspector's concern. So we will put the most important. For example, there's 12 items, but only 5. The buyer said this is a major. I think the seller have to fix. Or they need to give me some credit. We will ask a home inspector or ask someone else to find out how much to fix those problems. And once you get all the information, I will suggest you email to the listing agent. Don't just send the home inspection report. I know some agents said that this is a home inspection report. Take a look. The listing agent didn't want to spend the time to read all the 50 pages report. So for the listing agent, we want to make sure everything give it the easy way to deal with the home inspection. We email to the listing agent. We tell them, here we find the 12 problems, but my buyer, after serious consider, we only want the seller to fix the five problems. Of course, I know maybe your seller busy, or if you don't want to fix, here we ask the contractor. They said 800, maybe 1200, whatever amount. If your seller can choose, either fix, either give us credit, please let me know, and I will prepare the amendment. You give the listing agent the option. Tell them what is the problem and which one is important, and ask a listing agent talk to the seller. If the seller agree to fix this problem, if not agree, they can give the credit, so you can prepare the amendment. The amendment I already showed to you previous slide. You see there's like a delete home inspection, insert seller agree to fix, or seller agree to give the credit. So that is the proper way to do the home inspection. Don't just give the listing agent, look, this is a home inspection report. The listing agent won't want to take time to see it. Okay, where it's really quick. We finished the home inspection. I think the home inspection is this is just when you have a buyer to do the home inspection, you will find the lots problems. But anyway, that is a general instruction. If you have a deal with a home inspection, what you should to do. The next one is a revisitor. I think a lot of people didn't put the offer. They write the offer for all office standard is a 2 times revisitor. We use it 2 times. The reason is first time we want to do the measurement. The second time is for check everything is working. So we don't want to write down the more than 2 times. I know some agent they put the offer write down 3, even 5 times for the revisitor. I really don't know if the buyer said I need to use all the 5 times revisitor. How much time you need to waste to do the revisitor? If you have more revisitor time, the buyer give you more problem, because every time they go there, they see, oh, here the window is a problem. Here, so they see the wall, they may have a hole. Next time they see, oh, the floor, maybe they have a crack. So that's why, if you have more inspect, more revisitor, you get a more problem. But the 2 is good enough. Don't more write down, change the 2 times revisitor, never change it. Let's talk about the first revisitor. First revisitor is supposed to be after home inspection, after the condition waived. You can be anytime after condition waived. So we have to call the listing brokerage. We said I want to book appointment for the first revisitor. They will ask you which property, what's your name, when you want the showing. Then you wait for the confirmation. Once you receive the confirmation, bring the buyer to go for the first revisitor. Make sure if you go first revisitor, I will suggest you bring some tape, bring some paper, bring some pen, because you have to ask a buyer, in case, some buyers, okay, they don't want to measure. Some buyer, they don't know, first time buyer. We tell them, you know what, we will do the measurement in case you need to prepare to buy some furniture. So make sure you have those kind of the paper. just write down the living room, dining room, kitchen. Oh, just have a chart. You bring the pen and bring the tape. The tape, I will suggest you to do the promotion tape. Promotion tape, once you finish the measurement, you can give it to your buyer, the client. And also the pen, I will suggest you use a promotion pen because the promotion pen, they have your name, your contact number there. Let's see the tape. If you go to Google search promotion tape, you will find a lots. Like, they have a level, this is a tape, uh, all kinds of tape. Even they have you know, different looks. Make sure the tape is put your name because why we need to use some promotion. The reason is that they will print your name, your number, and your maybe WeChat QR code there. So you can give to your client. Maybe not give one, maybe two or three. Tell them, I know this tape, you may use it. I think if in case you have a friend, send it to your friend. So that this is instead the business card. They give it to their friend can find your contact information. So this is to do the advertising. All kinds of tape. And also it's not expensive, but I will suggest you to order some. Yeah, that is for the first revisitor. For the measurement, I will suggest you use the first revisitor, do the marketing, and also ask your buyer to give you some referral. The referral one is you can uh, give out some promotion item, let your client give to their friend. Second one, maybe you can ask your buyer, do you have a friend or someone? Maybe you can ask them. We can, bring them together, come to see the property, do the measurement. And the next one we call the revisitor or final visitor. The final visitor, why we need a final visitor? When we need a final visitor, usually it's a 2 or 3 days before the closing. Why we don't want to use the day before the closing day? We have a lots of the situation is the day before the closing day, the seller is already, listing agent is already take out the lockbox. There's no key because the seller already gave a key to their lawyer. If the last day, the day before the closing, you may not able to get the appointment. So that's why even you confirm, sometimes you go there, there's no lockbox. So we will suggest 2 or 3 days before the closing day. And if you go to the property, making sure you just test everything, like test the water, test the stove, making sure you know how to operate. When you open, you need to make sure turn it on, turn it off. Uh, Usually, I will always suggest to contact the listing agent. Tell the listing agent, can you please ask a seller if they are available? Because my buyer is for making sure your buyer is a first time buyer. Because my buyer is a first time buyer, and I'm not sure, they want someone to teach them how to, the property. There's something they don't know how to use. If the seller is at home, will be great because the seller can show the buyer, how to open uh, the air condition, how to open the heat, and also something you never know. Never, if the seller did seller not told you, you never find out. Oh, there's another things you can use. So that's why I always trying to ask a listing agent, see if the seller available can teach your buyer. After they move in the property, they know how to operate everything. Uh, I remember there's a one of my buyer before I asked a leasing agent said, "Oh, is your seller available?" Because my buyer is a young couple. They're first time buyer. They really wanted to ask a seller to show them the property. The leasing agent asked a seller. The seller is okay. It's really seller said they are waiting the property. What time? So we just book appointment. I bring the buyer go there. The seller is waiting the buyer, and the seller said, you know what? I have some like mower, the machine to cutting the grass, the mower. So do you want? Because the seller think they needed to bring our way. The buyer said, "Oh yes, we're the first time buyer. Of course, we need to buy some grass cutting machine, but it's still working. But the seller think they need to empty the property. But the buyer said, okay, we want. And then the seller said, I have a table. The table is good, but I don't have a place to put because we are going to do the downsize. The buyer said, yes, this is where maybe we don't want to buy another one. Yes, you can leave it. And then they will show how to open uh, uh, open the like air condition, heating, and uh, even the garage door. They have a pass code for the garage door. If I that time I realized if I never asked the seller to show the buyer, maybe the buyer move in, they never know the passcode for the garage door reopened. So the seller told the buyer, the passcode is. The buyer take it down, take the pen to write down, and there's a lots of stuff. The seller said, I just worry about how can I move this stuff out. But the buyer said, don't worry, whatever you have, we will keep it. So that's really good. And for the buyer, they want to try to save money because they are first time buyer. But for the seller, they just worry about, if they have to move out everything, they have no place to store it. So the seller is happy because they give they didn't move out the less furniture, but the buyer is happy because they save lots of the money. They don't want to buy some furniture. Yeah, that is like I always suggest the seller, if you have a chance, let the seller to stay the property, and when the buyer do the final visit. And also, if the buyer do the final visitor, the seller is really, really glad to show the buyer, how to use the stove, maybe some gas stove, and how to open, the garage door or whatever. The seller use that for every day. They know it. Yeah, that is the final visitor. We want to make sure if the seller, it's not every seller will be a present for the final visitor. It's okay. If not there, we have to make sure everything is okay. If in case you find something wrong, we have to quickly call the listing agent. And at the same time, we have to let the buyer to talk to their lawyer. The buyer's lawyer will talk to the seller's lawyer. The seller's lawyer will talk to the seller. Yeah, that is for the final visitor. Lots of the agent forget last step is called a follow up, ask for referral, because they think oh, the buyer's property is closed, my job is done, I need to find another buyer, another client. They never think about I can when the client move in the property, I can call them, make appointment, maybe some buyer they will do the new home welcome party. Tell the buyer, if you move in, prepare everything and call your friend, your relative, anyone you know to get a party. It's called new home moving party. As an agent, you can tell the buyer, I will get uh, some food. I will order some food for you. That means if you go to the moving party, they will introduce to their friend, their colleague, maybe their relatives. So they will see, oh, the property looks great. Who help you to purchase a property? then you can give out your business card. Of course, I'm not really want to give a business card. I will ask you to give out the promotion item. Remember the promotion item? Tape, promotion pen. That is a very useful promotion item. Then you may get more and more client. So once the property closed, ask for follow up, ask a referral. So that is the last step. You won't, because the referral is much good quality than the new client. Okay, so that is for the, I think after closing, yeah, that is the all for today. I think today is we talk about negotiate the deal from the offer, and what you should to do for the next, and home inspection issue, and revisit her. Yeah, that's very. It's not too much stuff, but I think that's all for today. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. If you don't have, I think this is the last seminar for this year, and from next year we will start again for the listing process. Okay, so today is already 20th. This week is Christmas. I hope everyone you enjoy the Christmas season. And yeah, that's all for today. Hope you enjoy the holiday.